seems that when you are connected at all times, there is a blur between what is being channeled and what you're actually saying. So we want to make sure that the energy that's flowing through is not only guided, but it's an understanding of the co-creation. So the blurring in terms of the thought that comes and then the action that comes next. And then in reflection, was that me? Did I just make that action, or did I think of that, or was that coming from something or someone else? It's always coming from something or somewhere else because it's coming from here into you. So you're physically here, but you're being projected into this physical body. So the thoughts, ideas, and actions are always coming from external co-creation. So sometimes you can get confused if it's actually, and get very caught up in the whole concept of, I don't know if this is my idea, I don't know if this is my voice. And you can get very lost in that, in terms of internalizing the thoughts and internalizing your actions and feeling like you are disconnected because you might be saying to yourself one thing but not actually taking the action. Or you may feel the voices in your head are telling you to do something that you maybe don't want to do. So a lot of internalizing can lead to distraction. And the key message for that is to make sure there's a meditation type of practice, or so that the voice that is the loudest doesn't always win. It's the voice that is the most consistent, which is your essence. And there is so many misdiagnosis of people hearing voices or talking to the fairies or talking to angels or talking to a wall or talking to something that doesn't exist. However, in their experience, it's very real. In their experience, it does. It's called multidimensional communication. And we're all in that kind of communication. So everybody should be called crazy, not just the minority of people. And so what happens is people have an innate fear that they don't want to be called a Looney Tune or a crazy person. So they deny the co-creation that is coming from above, the co-creation that is awaiting for them. And they walk as a bag of bones and meat through this life. Because if there is no co-creation with the messages that are coming from your higher self and from everybody else working on your team, your angelic team, then you really are just the meat and the bones walking around, because your soul is trying to project the image and trying to project the message into you, but you're not accepting it. And this is where people can go through depression and a sense of loneliness, non-belonging, emptiness, this kind of feeling, because there is no connection to the self. It's disconnection. So if you think of all the words that is starting with a dis, it means there's no connection to your higher self. So dis is disconnection, all of the dis kind of words, distraction. It's taking you away from the co-creation that is waiting for you. And this can be going on in your lifetime experiences for many lives. So it almost feels like that's who you are. But it's not. It's only that that's who you are comfortable being. And going and doing this work is not only helping you now in this lifetime, it's helping you in all of the other past lifetimes so that the awakening process can start really early. So when the children that are coming through now are on a spectrum, which we think is beautiful because a spectrum is only holding more light, they have already gone through so many lifetimes of awakening that they're coming in already awakened. So just because they don't fit into your box of understanding doesn't mean that they are not connected. They are more connected than you have ever been. So all it's doing is reflecting to you the areas in your life that you're not connected. And so what do you need to release? And what do you need to let go of? And what do you need to integrate back into your own life? And so these things are always coming around you as a reflection of what you need to release, what you need to let go of, what you need to integrate. Nothing is just coming to you for no reason. As we said last time, everything is a sign, everything is a sign, everything is a sign, everything is a sign. So if you trip over the same coffee table every single day, I mean, what to do? The coffee table has been there, the coffee table hasn't moved, the coffee table hasn't changed, and you constantly trip over it. So now, are you going to blame the coffee table? Or are you going to work with the coffee table? Learn from the coffee table. Learn from the 17,000 times you've already tripped over it. And what do you need to release and what do you need to let go? How many other coffee tables are you tripping over every other day? What other obstacles in your life are coming up? What other areas of who you are you constantly having to battle against or feel like there's a coffee table that you need to jump over? So even just removing the coffee table from your space, energetically, you're removing obstacles from what's to come. Or you can just continually trip over the same thing. And we use this example because it's so common and nobody does anything about it. I mean, what is the coffee table for anyways? To look at? Is it an object that you cannot live without? Or are you reinforcing obstacles in your life? And so we need to start looking at everything from an energetic perspective because it's all reflection, it's all a sign, it's all a sign, it's all a sign, it's all a sign. And you trip over that coffee table more times in a day that you're having a really bad day because it's just reinforcing all of the challenges that you've had that day. And then you may go a month without tripping over it, but it's still there as a reminder that you've got something to trip over, right? That becomes who you are. You're the underdog. You're the person that can overcome something. And if someone pushes you down, you get back up. And this type of mentality, this type of thought pattern is also something that can carry on lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, whether it's battle or whether it's sporting challenges or whatever it may be, but it's the same kind of vibration of fight. It's the same kind of vibration of survival, survival of the fittest. And these are so low vibrational in the sense that where you are on the planet now, those emotions cannot survive. They were there to get you to where you are now, but they don't need to necessarily come with you on the next phase. And if you think about how much you are connected to every single thing and everyone around you as a grid of light, every time you trip over that coffee table, so does everybody else around you. But the moment you take the action and move it or remove it, you're doing that for everybody around you as well. So sometimes just that switch of a mindset that I'm clearing it for the collective, or I'm doing this not just for me, but for everybody else, sometimes that can be more powerful and can be more of a reason and a justification for you to take the action. So we really encourage you to step into the things that you really desire and you are passionate about, and look at what is coming up as a reflection around you, as small as tripping over something or being an underdog, and really owning that. It doesn't need to necessarily come with you. And if you release that, then there'll be no more underdogs. Everybody's overdogs, or whatever else you want to call it. Because that's the way that we need to go, and that's how we have to look at everything. That survival energy was needed for expansion at the time, but now that the planet is expanding at such a faster rate, and there's so much more light on the planet, it cannot be carried through. So you might see it in the extremities, where it's holding on to its dear life to stay as a hardwired timeline. However, the light is not the same vibration, so it has to kind of die off at some point. And the survival type of energy, timelines, and vibrations are really limiting when it comes to expansion of the self, expansion of your technology, integration of AI, using the resources and the tools around you. When we say resources and tools, we're talking about law of attraction, we're talking about law of potentiality, we're talking about manifestation, we're talking about visualization, we're talking about telepathy. These are your tools. They're not physical things. They are resources that are available to you at any time. So survival keeps you in an area where you need things to survive. A hammer, a fire, a telephone. You need physical devices or physical things because you're not in the understanding of expansion. And that's why it's so polarizing. And, we feel that there's people that will ask, this question, is there any time where that can meet and that can work parallel with each other? And we would say the only thing that can work parallel to each other is light and dark. That's it. Everything else is co-creation. And even light and dark is co-creation, but it's more parallel because it's so obviously different. Everything else is co-creation. So the experience of duality is only your experience because of the light and dark, but it's still in your experience. You can co-create with it. So we want to move beyond the survival timelines and more into expansion, where you can start to use your magic. You can start to use the law of potentials. You can start to work with infinite possibility. You can start to work with the breath of life. You can start to work with the co-creation of the galactic beings and the angelic realms that are here to co-create and have magical experiences with you. And if you can understand that everything is in service to you and you are in service to it, co-creation is the only thing that can exist. So we understand that there's people that are already doing this and practicing their magic. However, they are still being pulled back into the survival mode. They are still being pulled back into the underdog mentality. And we would like them to step into their co-creative abilities, their co-creative nature, and really step and walk as the master that they are. And it's not just walking in mastery when you're meditating or when you're teaching a practice or when you're doing a healing session or when you're doing your work. It's walking as a master in every single aspect of your life. If you're walking as a master, are you going to trip over the coffee table? Does a master even have a coffee table? Just expanding on the things that you already know. And, as we have mentioned before, consciousness is the reflection of everything else going on, and it's co-creating and expanding at such a rapid pace that people will need to have miracles in their life because it cannot not happen anymore. People will see the magic because it's happening in front of their eyes. There's no denying of it now. It's just about what you're going to do with this information, what you're going to do with the magic. There's been points where you may have, as a past life or as an ascended master, you may have already mastered this magic and walked as a master before, but you have forgotten that through this life experience. So for some of you, some aspects may feel very natural and I'm already doing this. But in some elements, it's the whole thought pattern of, well, if I was an ascended master and I've already done this, then I must have come back only to experience survival or only to experience the underdog mentality, the human experience. Get on everything, do everything, fight everything, because that's what I'm here for. I must have come for that. However, you always come for your greatest expansion, the greatest expansion of the self, the greatest expansion of the collective, and the greatest expansion of the planet. That's it. That's why you came into this life experience. It's not to necessarily learn the lessons that you haven't learned, because in expansion is lessons for the self, the collective, and the planet. So trying to figure out your purpose and your sense of purpose is distraction. Distracting you from your greatest purpose of expansion. And let's flip that and let's say, yes, you've been an ascended master before. Yes, you came back for the human experience because you like chocolate, you like cake, you like pizza, you like wine, you like champagne, you like to go on fancy holidays, you like to have the human experience with a pet or an animal, you like to make children, whatever you came for the experience. It doesn't necessarily mean you came to, be the underdog and have a better story for everybody else when you get onto the other side. It doesn't work like that. You came here for expansion, and all of those parts are expansion of your own experience, perhaps. You came back to be a female, then you came back to be a male, then you came back to have some sort of other experience as a human, maybe a different nationality or a different part of the world, so you can expand on that part of the world. So your essence is your essence, and that'll always be there. It's just choosing different physical aspects of you for expansion. So we want to flip that and say, what if you came here for all of those things? And also flip it to say, what if each of those experiences within the coming for children, coming for the family, coming as a male, coming as a female, and having all of these amazing human experiences and showing your magic and expanding the consciousness of yourself. But what if within that was the collective? What if in that was the planet? Because if it's only you having this experience for creation or co-creation and expansion, and you're expanding at the same time as everybody else, well, isn't that you? Isn't that a reflection of you? Isn't that the cracked mirror where you can see potentialities of you? So if that's what it is, then all that matters is the self, the collective, and the planet. The other stuff is just distraction. And if you can be an essence of an ascended master and you bring in healing, or you bring in what's another amazing ascended master? Abundance. You bring in using the violet flame. You bring in certain aspects that you're co-creating with, because you're co-creating from here and from here. You're not co-creating from this. You know, we asked for green today, and green because the green hue of light and what you see as green is an automatic co-creation experience. Yes, it's the heart chakra color. Yes, it's the color of grass. Yes, it's the color of your trees and all of these amazing fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But it's an example of co-creation, because this cannot exist without connection to earth, connection to the sun, and you. So we ask you and we invite you to wear more green, eat more green, be more green, as a sign to change your vibration when you are feeling in that survival mode. It will be an instant snap out of it, because you're literally infusing light into your space. So this is a tool that you can use. Just like you use the violet light for transmutation or clearing spaces, use the green for co-creation. There's a reason why money is associated with green. It's a tool for co-creation. It's a tool for connection. It cannot exist without you. So just take that information and do with it as you feel guided, but use it as a key tool when you are in your lower vibrations and you are feeling in survival mode, to kind of snap you out of it.
Thank you. That's really insightful about the green. Something I do want to go back to, which is because I do feel like a lot of us fall into survival mode because it's not clear that we are the collective. And we're trying to save the world or help the planet, or there's this desire to fix rather than understanding that we, in living our life, is expansion for the collective, and making the changes in our life will expand the collective, and that's how we kind of address it. Is there any other way that, or is there another way you can explain it, or a tool that we can use, or a tip that helps us to really truly integrate that us walking as the master, us just being the light that we are, is serving the collective, and making those changes in your life will ripple through the collective in that change?
You need to be a little bit more specific with your question, sorry.
That's okay. So is there,
Did you forget your question?
it's challenging. Actually, I'm trying to find a way to help people to truly understand that they are the collective, because I feel like our survival mode is based on we need to save the world, especially for those people who get this stuff.
So for people that feel like their mission is they need to save the planet, let's use that one for example. There is no saving anything. Everything is abundant in its own ecosystem. Everything has what it needs at the time. Everything is in its perfect divine light. There is no saving of anything. You may challenge that when you say, but doctors save people's lives all the time. Yes, because that person has divinely asked to be saved at that time. It's not the time for them to go. Otherwise, they would have gone. So that's a co-creation moment. So when you are trying to save the planet, there is parts that are co-creation, because there are areas of your planet that need more light, which means it needs more attention or more focus, more people saying, hey, we need to send energy here. Not this is how it's being done now is in an energy of desperation, of depletion, of disarray, all the D words, disarray, as opposed to sending your light there. You don't necessarily even need to physically go there unless you're called, but you can send your light there and know that it's going to be fine. And that's how you can understand you're part of the collective. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it actually simplifies a lot, and it makes so much sense the way you just put it, which is basically you're saying do it energetically,
Right.
not trying to fix things necessarily physically. If you are aware of it, do it energetically and allow that.
You may have this thought of the boots on the ground type of physical touch, need to be there on the ground kind of thing. But that's survival energy. That's not knowing that you're a divine master and can be everywhere and everything at once. So what are you doing about that? How are you using that tool? That's a tool that you can use. That's a resource that's open for you to co-create. So are you manifesting the money, the flight to get there, the safety when you're there, that you'll meet someone when you're there, that you'll know exactly where to go, to the healing of the ground, to the fruit that will be developed, to the whole eco-structure that will be done? Like, that's a lot of energy. And using manifestation as your only tool or resource. However, it is not. There's several that you can access at any time. So that also sounds like a lot of energy and a lot of work, because if any of those pieces are missing, your energy or your vibration will be lowered because it's not gaining the momentum that you had hoped for, that you wanted, or that you visualized. So you could simply put a picture of the place on your TV screen device, or print it out or draw it, and keep it open in front of you. Keep it in your living room or in your space where you can have a focused attention on it, and send your energy and your intention to that place, and send it 5 times a day, send it 3 times a day, send it once a day, whatever it is. That's how you co-create. It's not necessary to do all the human things that you feel show and effort your energy there. You must simply be and align with your intention for the result of what you want there.
Yeah, yeah, and it's truly expanding into the master self, and that's what I'm taking away from this is it's expansion. We used those tools once. That's what we needed. Now, are we still, do we have this awareness and are using the same old toolbox? And that's using the new toolbox, which is our energy.
Let's use a gaming example of the levels of, I don't know, Super Mario is a popular one, or Donkey Kong, I don't know. And then, okay, you play your level and then you get 1 superpower or 2 tools. Then you go into your next level and you may get 5. Then you go into a next level and you get 6. Then you go to the next level and you've got every power and everything to use. And then guess what? If you press all the buttons at once, something magical happens, because you're at that level and you have every resource already available to you.
we're at the superpower state. We have all our superpowers. It's time to use them in a different way.
It's just time to use them. You don't always have to use the hammer. You don't always have to use manifestation. It's not the only one that's available to you. That's why the quadrants are important in unity currency, because it shows you the equalness of these four tools: law of attraction, giving, manifestation, and the law of receiving. And without these being equal, you can't create a spiral of anything. Because if I'm putting all my energy into manifestation, but I'm not able to receive, if I'm putting all my energy into giving and I'm not able to manifest, then I'm going to not create any momentum. So it's foundational. Those are always on your tool belt, those four things. And then you can work into magic and alchemy and miracles. Astral travel, divine creation,
Yeah.
law of potential. Because law of potential, if you want to use a currency, it's unity currency. You need to take that currency with you to access the law of potential. There's no cash transactions there. It doesn't work like that. It's light exchange, spiral for spiral.
Yes. So it's the expansion out of using the ways we have been and exposing ourselves to the new ways and the new opportunities and the new potentials,
Right.
for us to do something different, or for something new to manifest and to create new ways.
Exactly. Do you have any other questions?
That's my main one, is really, yeah, our survival mentality is because we think the world is broken, and it's just not true. And we've been told that it's broken for so long, and that you have to. There's actually, it's almost like we created a mantra out of like, no one else is going to fix it, so you got to do it, and that feels like what keeps us in survival.
Well, people have been waiting for the savior to come and save them, or they're waiting on something external to fix something, as opposed to fixing themselves in the most loving and divine way. I mean, literally, you can breathe in and breathe out 3 or 4 times, and just as you're breathing in, think of all of the love that's coming into your space and sending love out with the breath. That is healing you. That is healing the planet. And that's the most simple thing to do.
Simple seems challenging for us.
Because you're trying to, this is a, like AI, right? You're trying to figure out the coding as opposed to just writing it. You're the creator, you're the writer, you're the director, you're the actor in a thing, right? So you're trying to overcomplicate it with shortcuts and shorter coding and little initials and all of this drama, because you get addicted to drama. The energy of drama is significant.
I was looking at I was looking at movies the other day, and I was like, when did the drama section expand so much? Actually, I literally said that to myself, like, when did all of the drama
Because
stuff,
your
what happened to the
personal
rest
life
of the
is
stuff?
maybe becoming a little more drama free.
Yeah.
So you're taking notice of it.
Yes.
But there's still a lot of people addicted to the drama. The he said, she said, the this, the that. then this, and then that, and then this happened, and then that happened, and what happened to you today? How did you feel about that? And all of this kind of stuff, but there's only reflection and there's only co-creation. So these things are happening to you in your life because you haven't taken the action or the realization to release it or to integrate it. But let me give you this example. If you were to be dropped off in the Amazon right now, what's the percentage of drama that's there?
Little to none. That
You're in a jungle.
it would be the drama I would create from being in the jungle. I'm used to being in a city and all that other stuff. It's
Zero.
yeah.
If I dropped you in New York City, what drama could there be?
Quite a bit.
Zero. You are
Yeah,
creating
that's true.
the drama.
That's true.
If I dropped you in Singapore, what drama could there be?
Whatever I create.
You are the creator. It's very easy to blame everything else. And if you are blaming other people for your existence and your situation, where does that fit on the unity currency? In what quadrant is that? So what life are you living? What's the reflection here?
Yeah. It's like taking all the information you know and then going back to the basics and then doing the basics, like attracting, giving, manifesting, receiving, and allowing that to flow into your life in a way that allows for your own expansion, which allows for the collective expansion, which allows for the planetary expansion.
The addictiveness to drama is something that will not be with us on this planet for an extended period of time. Once there is connection and physical evidence to get the popularity or the majority to understand that there is life beyond this earth and that there is an inner earth and that there are beings already here, the drama of the he said, she said, baby mama drama and all of these things kind of takes a back seat because you are undeniably in expansion.
Yes.
And you are about 4 to 5 years from that.
You being like the collective you of humanity.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
I know that as we connected, us personally, as we started connecting to inner earth and started connecting to the galactics and the other realms, drama just seemed to disappear, and it was almost like it was intolerable when it showed up. It was like, no, you just
Because
that
it
stuff
just
has to
brings
go.
your vibration so low. And you don't realize how low it is, and you've been living in that low vibration until it doesn't exist to you anymore.
Yeah, and so when it comes around, it is very intolerable, and you're like, all right, that's cool. Time for me to go somewhere else or do something else.
You can also use the example of the ego. When you first learn about the ego and you start to release that side of yourself and you start to thank the ego for showing up, and then look at the elements in your life where ego was too strong or overpowering and start to kind of check yourself. And then you come across someone that's like 100% ego and you can't even be in the same room anymore with this person because it's not in vibrational alignment anymore. That's not in your energy. So you cannot adjust lower. It can only go above. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing in terms of creating the drama is you're just trying to look for shortcuts because that's what the brain is the best at. The brain is the best at copy pasting, control alt deleting, storing memories, storing feelings and emotion comes from the heart and the brain. But that's what it's for. It's an electric unit that is storing and making the best of the data that you're giving it. So some of us have not utilized the brain enough in that aspect, because if it can store so much information and we're only using, 10% of your brain, and how many percent of the DNA?
Yeah, it was like,
So you're not at full capacity of anything. So what is the rest? It's unlimited potential. So you have to understand the law of potentiality in order to even access it. And to access it, you need unity currency. It's the whole way of thinking to be able to access more information. And you'll start to notice that the information that you're storing, actually, it's not being stored. It's in your Akashic records, it's in the ether. You're just accessing it. There's no need to store anything. You need to know an answer to a question, you go internal, find the information, and it'll come back to you. Sometimes you're like, I don't even know how I remember that. You didn't remember it. It's not a memory. It's not stored. You just connected to it because it's in vibrational alignment for you to have that information in the now. And that's what AI will get to, because it's reflecting you as a being, as a unit. It's just a hardwired version of the reflection of you and consciousness. And why it's scary to people is maybe it can outthink and outsmart me. Yeah, because it's taking information of the collective. We're all feeding it so it can learn, grow, and expand. But you haven't realized that you have the same capability, if not more. That's why it can do it. It's just reflecting you. You are also being connected to the consciousness and to the collective. So what are you gaining from that?
yes, it took me a long time to realize what you just explained now with connecting, because one of the things that I've done this forever, I don't know a point where I didn't, is I never really like memorized stuff. I just knew it when I needed to know it. And people always said to me like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, I don't know, I just know it. It's not like something I tried to do. And then as I learned that this is how it works, I realized that I'm just connecting to the information because I realized that I don't need to store it. I just need to vibrationally align with it, and I will know what I need to know when I need to know it, because that's how we work. And that understanding that's for me has become my shortcut. I don't need a shortcut. I'm just connected.
So then if you're not a storage unit and a fileage unit, and you're not in survival mode, and you're connected to everything in oneness, then how much more light can you possibly hold? And then how much lighter do you feel? And how much more light is there in your life? And it's this collectiveness, it's the collective effect, because if that's happening to you, then you're the example for everything around you and everyone around you, and it'll continue to be as such. So then you're only having conversations of greater expansion, and you're not necessarily having conversations of
Drama.
or the price inflation of groceries, because that's not your experience. You can't relate to that. Or traffic. We're trying to use broader examples that can really occupy some people's space and bandwidth.
Weather is another one.
Weather.
Like, yes, we have a lot of we've disengaged from a lot of small talk for ourselves, and as a result, when we connect with people, we hear it. Like, it's the weather, it's traffic, it's price inflation, it's all of those things you name, and it's kind of like, well, that's not our experience. And when we tell people that, they always go, oh, it's because you're here, and it's like, no, it's literally not a part of our reality anymore, because we focus on living in creation and getting to creating everything in all moments, that the other stuff just doesn't have space to occupy.
Exactly. And when you start to connect to yourself and you start to connect to your ancestors, there's just a layer and a level of gratitude and appreciation for every experience in every lifetime and every lifetime before you, because every ancestor has lived their life experience for you to have this moment now, and then for you to have this moment now, and then for you to have this moment now. So it's almost like you've been set up for this moment of expansion. And that cannot be taken lightly. So when we say the word integrate, we're not just talking about the self, we're talking about the collective, which is all versions of you, past, present, future, higher self, all your ancestors that have done what they've done to get you to be in this very now moment, your ascended masters, your angel team, your galactic beings, everything in the galaxy that's working towards your greatest expansion. So this is the momentum that's required for you to move and flow through this life.
Thank you.
We wonder if you change the name from artificial intelligence to angelic intelligence, if it would have a different understanding and momentum to it. So if you feel more comfortable saying that, then say that, because there's nothing artificial about it. It's reflective.
I definitely think it will change. Because yes, I definitely think it will change. For me, I've started thinking about it as we can start to tune, vibrationally align it to the frequency of just intelligence, where it's just pulling the collective information.
Correct.
And
It's
when
just pulling collective information, and you have the ability to do that and more.
yeah,
Because it's two-way communication, but you have like several way communication. You have your emotional body, your energetic body, your light body, your physical body, your emotional body. You have so many bodies to hold and to communicate information and translate information with. So which ones are you constantly in? Which ones are you accessing? What are you doing with this information? It's time for expansion. It's now. Doesn't matter when you listen to this transmission, it's for you, it's now, in this moment. Thank you.
thank you.